I am looking for a Rowan.
Yes. Yes.
I am so overbooked with clients today. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you there. Why don't you take a seat? Rowan. It says here that you are not dealing with any sort of conditions or anything. That's great. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's just that in my file there is, I am diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. What? I don't think so. That's pretty rare. Oh no, it does say that on there. I told Mary up front not to assign me people with that diagnosis, but I will speak to her later. It would make sense though, because you are a woman. Oh, well actually I don't really identify. Never mind. I'm sorry, you have a long medical history here, don't you? So what is bringing you in here today? I've just been dealing with some not great thoughts and I was trying to get back on medication. I used to be on it. Still with the borderline thing, I mean, I met your mother. She is so nice. Are you dealing with unalive thoughts? Well, actually I am kind of dealing with not really thoughts, but more just passing ideations. Because I just have to press this button and we can send you in, right? Yeah, okay, no thoughts at all, not at all. Any SH right now? Any SH? Well, not currently. I used to kind of deal with because I just don't know why people would do that to their bodies. You are so beautiful. Thank you. I am shocked that someone would diagnose you with that, considering you were clearly just being a teenager. I don't know, maybe, but also 4% of the population could actually have BPD, so it's not incredibly rare, but never mind. But I digress. I will be putting you on the 20 milligrams of Prozac again, okay? Okay, it's just that didn't really help me never mind, I'll just try it again. There is an incredible amount of stigma when it comes to BPD, whether it's from the internet or from mental health professionals. People and mental health professionals can be influenced by misunderstandings, movies, in media portrayals and online communities where they glamorize suffering. Today we will be debunking myths about BPD and react to some TikToks that showcase how the disorder can affect your life.
BPD is actually described by medical professionals as the emotional equivalent to having third-degree burns over 90% of your body. It is the most painful mental illness, and its fatality rate is 10%, which means, for example, all of my followers had BPD. There's 7,500 of them. 750 of them will die. That's incredible numbers. That's insane and devastating.
This is an alarming statistic that I think is important to talk about. When you have BPD, you can be struggling with constant, intense emotions, chronic emotional pain, impulsivity that can destroy your life. Not every single person. I was actually talking to somebody who has BPD and mental health professionals are trying to convince them that they have trauma, which is terrible because with BPD, it is common that trauma is involved, but not in every case. Stigma about BPD can make people afraid to tell other people that they have it, including mental health professionals. When two people with BPD can be completely different people. Some people with BPD might be emotionally manipulative, attention-seeking, have a lack of empathy, and difficulty trusting others, while others might have completely different symptoms. It is also important to remember that a lot of the times BPD is caused directly from trauma, which doesn't excuse, for example, manipulative behavior. If someone is manipulating you, that's not an excuse that they have trauma that taught them to do that, but it can provide clarity to know that people can grow up learning things like this or have been in a traumatic event where it was life or death and they needed to learn these coping skills.
3 things that I want you to know as a therapist with borderline personality disorder. Number 1, not everyone with this disorder is violent onto others. It depends on the type of borderline personality disorder the person has. And usually these types are developed based on what happened in childhood or in relationships that cause them to feel like they should be outward in order to protect themselves or go inward in order to protect themselves.
There is said to be multiple types of borderline personality disorder. I don't know, anyone with BPD, comment below. Do you fit any of these perfectly, or is it like a mixture? There is said to be the impulsive subtype: quiet, petulant, discouraged, self-destructive, and exuberant. But remember, these subtypes are not classified in the DSM-5.
Number 2. A lot of people with borderline personality disorder suffer from really severe and recurrent suicidal ideation. And sometimes we push people away because we know that if we don't get a grasp on our distress, it could be really dangerous for ourselves.
A lot of people can be embarrassed. They don't want to come forward and tell their friends that, oh my gosh, I'm having these ideations again. Meanwhile, their crippling fear of abandonment doesn't want to burden other people, so they will withdraw. They might get so overwhelmed with emotions that they don't have enough spoons. They need to push others away. It feels like the only option. They might also feel like they don't deserve others' love and attention, which can prompt behaviors that push others away.
And number 3, people with this disorder have a really difficult time differentiating neutral faces and neutral people with angry faces and dangerous people. It's really hard for us to determine if a threat is real or just perceived.
There was a study done in which individuals with BPD were presented with faces that were smiling and very slowly went to a sad face. Individuals with BPD were able to notice the expression changes much faster than someone without it. At the same time, you might be always hyper aware, which is exhausting, and sometimes your thoughts might be connected to things like flashbacks and might not even be rational.
It's a condition, Suzanne, and it's called borderline personality disorder.
An instability of self-image, relationships, and mood. Uncertainty about goals, impulsive activities, social contrariness, and a generally pessimistic attitude are often observed.
A lot of people with trauma-based disorders or BPD might be like, okay, I have moved out of my traumatic situation. But your brain is still in reactive mode. It still thinks that something bad is gonna happen again. And it's understandable to feel angry about that. A lot of people with BPD have dealt with childhood adversity. They might have experiences of neglect, abuse, or other adverse childhood experiences that are strongly associated with the development of BPD. Early trauma can disrupt the development of emotional regulation skills and lead to lasting emotional distress. They might have grown up in an invalidating environment where one's emotions are not validated or are dismissed. This can lead to difficulties in regulating emotions and a heightened sensitivity to perceived rejection or abandonment.
I love you, but you don't understand me.
If you have BPD and are dating someone who doesn't have it, it can be difficult because you just want them to understand what's going on inside your head. You might be dealing with intense and rapidly shifting emotions. You might become very happy and affectionate or loving one moment and then suddenly become angry or anxious, even depressed the next.
The problem isn't that we can't feel love or we can't be in love. The problem is that we love so intensely, too intensely, and that we're unable to receive or accept love back. We're unable to believe that we are worth love. We're unable to believe and let go of our root fear that we will always be abandoned, doesn't matter by who. The world will abandon us in every way possible. This is rooted into our core. This is our natural thinking. This is our brain. This is what it tells us all the time.
One very common hallmark symptom of BPD is a fear of abandonment. Sometimes people with BPD can idealize and devalue relationships. While it is common for people with BPD to have a fear of abandonment, some people will express it in completely adverse ways to others. The person with BPD might need constant reassurance that you're not going to abandon them. It creates drive to go to great lengths to avoid real or imagined abandonment and the feelings associated with it. If a person with BPD notices anything that they perceive as a sign of abandonment, they could have different reactions based on their trauma or the way that it was developed. If you have BPD and perceive abandonment, you might have a different reaction based on how your BPD was developed. There's a chance that you might become angry or sad or possessive. There's etc. Something as simple as a partner not answering a phone or saying something that you might perceive as abandonment can completely send you and potentially cause splitting behaviors. Some people with BPD who have been through a therapy process or they just might not be able to relate to this, you might have experienced idealization of a relationship, not necessarily even romantic. If you have BPD or you have any sort of relation to a person with BPD, make sure to let me know you guys' thoughts on this one. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, and comment below. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much to each and every one of my members. I appreciate each and every one of you. And to everyone, have a good day, night, whatever the case may be, and peace out.